Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. Denis O'Hare is one of the great character actors working today, whether he's on the stage, terrifying us in American Horror Story and True Blood, or now playing sidekick to Emma Thompson in the incredibly smart and funny Late Night. Let's take a look.
She was the first female late-night talk show host on a major network, winning 43 Emmy Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, Catherine Newberry.
Catherine, do you think women are funny?
Funny is funny.
As long as you're white male and from an elite college, like your writing staff.
We need to hire a woman.
Would a gay guy work?
No.
So you have no experience in comedy?
I'm obsessed with comedy. I do a little stand-up.
Where?
If you have a problem, ask the chemist. She'll always have the solution.
You're hired. If it doesn't work out, which you probably won't, you'll be gone.
Are you okay?
I'm so happy. I feel sick.
I came to tell you this year is your last.
What?
Who are you?
I'm a new writer.
The new female writer.
Yeah, I can see that, Brad.
Think about why the show is bad
She's coming back! Don't push me.
and come up with ways to fix it.
The headline of my analysis is complacency.
I'll tell you what doesn't work. A newcomer coming in and giving me her assessment of my comic persona.
I will not be marginalized because no one here looks like me.
She's not trying to silence your strong female woman of color spirit. Hashtag me too, blah, blah, blah. You're a new writer with no experience. Write something.
Okay.
The show hasn't been good for years.
Why didn't you say something?
I thought you knew and didn't care.
You keep on asking me the same question.
I have some jokes for the monologue.
Tom Cruise is the same age as me. He gets to fight the mummy. I am the mummy. I need you, Molly, to help me change this show.
No more tantrums and no withering looks. Like that one.
That's my face.
It's like I'm powerful.
What exactly is wrong with my bits?
You're a little old and a little white.
What can I do about that? Let me introduce you to a new series, Catherine Newberry, White Savior.
I feel like I could never hail a cab.
Let's see what we can do about that.
I actually didn't need to go anywhere.
That doesn't matter. This is how White Saviors work. Into the cab.
I can't help it.
How would you describe Molly?
Molly is
She said that I reminded her of a younger her.
me.
I mean,
Molly, over here.
Everybody, please welcome Denis O'Hare. Let's hear it. Sir, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Congratulations on Late Night.
Thank you. I haven't seen it yet.
We should also...
I can't wait to
So
see
we've
it. I'm going
got
to see it tonight.
nothing to
tomorrow
talk
night.
about.
I'm going to see it tomorrow night.
Seeing it tomorrow night.
I did it, so I know what it's about. 'Cause
We also have Big Little Lies, which you're going to be a part of as well.
I also didn't see that.
Of course, I don't.
But I read
have not
every
seen it either.
script.
You read every script.
They're all right there.
And you worked with one of my favorite directors on that show, Andrea Arnold.
She was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of freewheeling improvisation, or was there pretty tight scripts that she had to stick to?
You know, it's David E. Kelly, so the script is pretty tight. You don't want to mess with it because he's such a good writer. But within that, there was a real spirit of improvisation. She and her camera crew, which I think they were all on Transparent together, and her first AD, they kind of all came over together in her DP. And so they have a really good working relationship. And it was a loose set in a really great way. But no, the words are,
Pretty tight.
the words.
And I imagine it's the same thing with Late Night. This is a very tight script written by Mindy Kaling. You can't really mess with
that
this.
was more improv. We did a lot of
Really?
Yes, a lot of improv on that. A lot of it. Her script is brilliant, but when we were doing things, we would oftentimes, just kind of throw things in. A lot of times, and everybody was really funny in that. John Early is hilarious. Paul Hauser is hilarious. Reed Scott is hilarious.
Emma is really funny.
Emma is super hilarious and super witty and super quick, really quick.
What was it
and
like?
Mindy's incredibly quick.
What was it like working with Emma Thompson?
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, she's tough, huh?
Tough. No, she is. So here's my, without sounding pretentious. I got to work with Emma and Meryl pretty much within 4 months, and they're both the best version of anything you can imagine. They're both funny. They're both really prepared. They're both professional. They're both really, really good. They're both human in the way that you want them to be human. It was extraordinary. I have no good stories to tell you.
There's obviously like different types of actors that reach a certain level of fame and success, but the
Like
types
Johnny Depp.
Right? Yeah, sure.
They lose their minds.
Yeah, but then there are the ones who maintain a level of success and quality that it's obvious it's because they actually care about the craft and like the job. They're not just in it for the fame, and they're not shooting Pirates of the Caribbean 4 and losing their mind.
Which is a great movie, by the way.
Pretty great stuff. Yeah. Gorver, actually, I don't know if that one was Gore Verbinski. I'm not sure how many he directed.
I didn't see it.
Dennis, I've always been a fan of your work. You know, before you were, I think, this like very well-known character actor on television, you were
that guy.
You're
that guy.
You were doing
What's
a lot
your name?
of theater in New York, though, right? You've been doing theater in New York for a while.
I started doing theater in Chicago. I was educated in Chicago, and we got some Chicago fans in the house. Woohoo! I worked everywhere but Steppenwolf. Don't ever ask me about Steppenwolf.
Did you audition and you didn't get it?
No!
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Fuck that. Oh, wait, I can say fuck?
Yeah, you can say fuck.
Oh my God, that changes everything.
Let's go.
I have an 8-year-old. If he sees this, he'll charge me. I pay $5 per the F word.
Wow.
Every time I say it, I owe him he bought a bike with the money I owe him.
Does the cost
Hundreds of
increase
dollars.
with different curse words, or is it
If
all
I
the
say
same?
it in anger, it's more expensive. If I say it in a story, like I'm telling a story, like, it was so fucking great, that's one. If I say, what the fuck? That's a lot of money. So.
What is like shit?
Shit's a buck.
Shit's a buck?
Yeah. We live in France now, so it's a euro, which is more expensive because the euro is 1.11.
You live in France now?
I live in Paris.
How did that happen?
Trump got elected.
Is that true?
Yes.
Really?
No, the day after he got elected, my husband, we were barely awake. We're like this in bed, and he turns to me. He goes, "We got to get out of here." And I was like, "I hear you, dude." And he was like, "No. We have to get out of here." So we moved. We left.
Are you worried about Marine Le Pen now?
No, she's not going to do anything. Here's the thing. Crash course European elections. The Greens were the biggest story in the European elections. The Greens surged in Germany, in England, and in France. The Greens came in third. Marine Le Pen will always be there because people will always be filled with hate and people need a negative message, but she will never be in power because the French are smart enough not to elect her. Because they have a system where when it comes down to the final two, the people who lost will throw their weight behind the other guy who's not an insane person, which is why Macron won, because the conservatives threw all their votes behind Macron. They'll never let her win. She'll never win. No.
Now, do you have plans to come back to America if Trump does not get reelected? Or is the country for you just kind of like...
When Mitch McConnell is gone, when the Supreme Court is finally back in the hands of real people, when we have 9 women on the Supreme Court, that'll be good. When the GOP finally dissolves as a party because they're already soulless and empty, when they finally collapse of their own accord, I will come back.
So you're going to be in Paris for a long time. How has that been? How has it been raising a child in Paris? And
it's been pretty great. The French are exasperating and amazing and inspiring and wonderful and tightly wound.
That's a lot of travel for you, though, right? I mean, you're shooting shows in California, in New York.
It's 12 hours from Paris to LA. And then I was doing a play in London. I was doing Tartuffe at the National in London. And then I have a play that was opening at Berkeley Rep. So I was going between London and Berkeley Rep back and forth too many times. And that's just long enough to kill you.
But your son...
It was Coach, by the way. Coach.
Not bitter about it at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
But your son lives in Paris?
We live in Paris, yes.
Wow. How often do you get to go back? Like, say you're shooting something like Big Little Lies. How much do you go back?
Well, I hadn't moved then. When I was still in Brooklyn when I was doing that. We just moved, and I've got a new gig which I can't talk about. That's going to be shooting in London starting in July. So that's the best of both worlds for me because the Eurostar is 2 hours and 15 minutes between Paris and New York.
Right,
Gare
that's
du
not
Nord
bad.
to St. Pancras.
Yeah, you can go back on the weekends or even at night. Really,
Exactly.
You can just do like a regular.
If they're
commute.
not on strike, because the French strike at the drop of a hat. And they do, but they strike like this. We're on strike, so they slow down. They call it a slow down strike. So they're at work, but they're doing this, you know. Next. And then you come up and they look at their magazine and then they take your passport and then they wait for 2 minutes and they go. So the line is 400 deep and everyone's missing their trains, but they got their raise.
I mean, it works.
You know?
Right?
I know.
Unions work.
Unions work.
Collectivism
Absolutely.
works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When did you?
I feel like this conversation is just going to be like.
Yeah, we went off the rails. I asked how
it.
how you got on the stage. You said Chicago. You were trained in Chicago. What
Yep.
made you want to become an actor? How did that start?
Oh, wow. You know, I was always a musician and an actor. My mom
you
was
play?
a church organist. I play organ, piano. I played recorders, clarinet, oboe, and violin. Violin badly. Oboe pretty well until I stopped. And oboe, you can't like drop it and pick it up. I still play recorder. I can play recorder with my nose. I can play 2 recorders at once.
Son Roland Kirk of the Recorder.
Yes, something like that. I wanted to be in Wes Anderson's latest film, and I wrote him a letter telling him I played recorder with my nose, and I got no response.
Bastard.
I don't know what happened there. I think I took,
you
I took
really
a
do
risk.
that?
Yes, of course I did. I took a risk and I failed.
How often do you write a letter to a director that you really like?
Not often. I should do it more often because
Have you done it before this?
I did it before a movie called, actually Tamara Jenkins, who directed The Savages.
Private Life.
And Private Life, which I'm in.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for Savages, and she was like, I really like you, but and didn't hire me. And I wrote a letter before she didn't hire me to say, you must hire me, and then she didn't hire me. But then all these years later, for Private Life, she hired me.
Can I say something? Private Life last year, one of the absolute best movies to come
Paul
out last
Giamatti,
year.
Catherine Hahn, amazing movie.
An amazing movie, and the kind of movie that doesn't get made that much
No.
anymore, in the sense that it's a small drama about human beings, and it doesn't feel like all of the life was removed from the script so that they
No.
could just sort of shoot the barest amount with
And
the
also,
smallest amount of money.
My
It
favorite
had
thing about
tangents.
it,
was
nobody
great.
changed. I
Yeah.
love that. People are like, oh, everyone's got to change at the end of a movie. No, people don't change.
Nope.
They don't change very often. or very
experience
quickly.
things.
They experience things. In that movie, they didn't really change.
Yeah.
They went through this experience, and they came out at the end kind of where they were at the beginning, and I love that about
Yeah,
that movie.
that movie's like a great book. There was just
Yep.
so many little elements that went off. I love that movie.
Yep.
So you're in Chicago, you're a musician, and when
Yep.
do you decide to become an actor?
Well, I was always doing musicals in high school. I played Pontius Pilate in Jesus Christ Superstar. They didn't ask me for the live version. Their mistake. And then I played Nicely Nicely when I weighed a lot more for Guys and Dolls. I played Sancho Panza also when I weighed a lot more. I was doing the weighed a lot more roles then. And then I went off to college, and I was going to be an opera singer, and so I auditioned for opera school at University of Michigan, and I got in, even though I forgot all the words to my audition. My very, very famous Schubert German leader, I forgot the words, and so I'm in the middle of my audition, and I'm 18, and I'm going, Du holde Kunst in viel vereinen Stunden, hast du mich eine bessere Welt entrückt, hast du mich milat, mukachi la kanaduna braju, simcha makula kajalda. None of which is German.
Yeah, right.
Everybody knows the song. It's a really famous song. And I got to the end and I finished, and they were like, jaws open. And they were like, that's a really famous leader. And I went, uh-huh. They went, we all know the words. And I was like, uh-huh. They're like, you forgot the words, right? But I didn't stop. And they accepted me. And then I ended up going to Northwestern University because it was 6 hours away from my house. And University of Michigan was 30 minutes from my house, and I wanted to get away from my parents because I was 18 and gay, and I was like, you know what? I gotta.
Were they fairly religious as well?
Very, very, very Catholic.
Very Catholic.
Yes, and very Republican. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I had to, and amazing people. But I think any 18-year-old who is getting, you got to get out.
Yeah.
You got to get away. You got to fall on your own. And because I went to Northwestern, they have an amazing acting school and a good music school, but I sort of followed the acting track and then forgot. I went to Northwestern to be straight and to be in opera, and then within a week I was sleeping with a guy and I was doing, Stanislavski. I was like, forgot to be straight. Forgot to be a musical comedy actor.
Forgot to be a musical comedy actor.
For a long time, I didn't do musical from freshman year college till I did cabaret on Broadway. Yeah, it was crazy. I just kind of forgot.
So you had always had an aspiration to be a musical comedy.
Well, I had always done them, and then I just kind of got sidelined into this, Stanislavski acting and intense methody stuff, which I adore. And so I did a lot of Chekhov and fell in love with Chekhov, and that's all I wanted to do until I auditioned for cabaret and then got in that, and that was amazing. I did Sweet Charity after that. And then I did Finian's Rainbow, which is a disaster. And I did Into the Woods. I did a TV version of Once Upon a Mattress.
Now I feel like you're an actor who's been steadily working now for a while, right?
Forever.
Forever.
Oh my God.
You've never really been an actor that was, I mean, maybe you have, like when you first graduated or something, you were, you know, living in an apartment with 10 people and then you had to figure out what to do. But was it fairly quickly that you started getting small roles and you could get work, whether it was in the theater or in TV and movies?
You know, I always say to character act, anybody actually, you know, I wish you a slow career, because when you work slowly, you have a different appreciation for what you do get. But also, I was always making my own stuff up. I was always creating on the side. I was always writing a play, always writing a monologue, always writing my own things, because I didn't know if they were going to hire me. I moved to New York in 1992 and didn't work for 8 months. I auditioned every single day. I auditioned 5 times a day for voiceovers. Never got any of them. Wow. None of them. I had no money. I would live at Lincoln Center Library for the Performing Arts and listen to the library stuff I would buy. I had $5 in my pocket. I would go to this Chinese restaurant on the Upper West Side where I can get a noodle soup and a free fortune cookie and a free tea and a free orange.
How old were you?
I was 30.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't like a kid. I was 30, and that was my life, and it was great. I had the best time. I was in it. I was creative. I was enjoying my life. I was scared. I was poor, but I was alive. I mean, and I've had that before. I've had years where I haven't worked, and I look down the barrel of, you know, the future and go, I am in trouble. I have a son. I'm in trouble. And then something comes along, you know, or I make something. I'm pitching 3 TV shows right now. I'm always thinking of the next thing I'm going to do. I'm constantly writing. I'm constantly creative. If nothing else, because then you're doing it. I'm doing what I love to do, even if no one's paying me. I'm doing it.
You have a sense of control at that point, right? When you're writing, whether or not it gets made or not,
right?
You at least take your moment in the morning
and
or
it's
at
alive.
some point in the day.
It's living in my head. It's living on the paper. It's alive, and it may have another life, but it has this life, and that one life on the paper is still a life. And then, you know, and things do get made. I wrote my first movie about my little sister's suicide, and we made it. We actually got that movie made, The Parting Glass, and it'll be eventually shown on VOD, I think, or on iTunes. It's getting bought by Sony World Classics. But, you know, some of the things made. I've written a play with Lisa Peterson called An Iliad, which we do all over the world. I'm doing it in Shanghai in August. I've written another play with Lisa called The Good Book, which is being done at Berkeley Rep right now in California. And we're writing a commission about the fall of Rome for Princeton University and the McCarter.
So you keep busy, is what you're saying.
You know what? Yes.
You learned how to keep busy because right away you weren't wildly successful or getting offers for roles all the time.
And also because you know you understand that it can all go away. It can go away in a second. It can just disappear in a second. Anybody can become irrelevant in a second, and not that relevance is that important or success is that important, but staying alive and working to me is important because I love what I get to do. I love being with other actors. I love meeting directors. I love reading a writer's words and making them come to life. That to me is really, really exciting. I like to be of use. I like this thing to be used.
When you get a script, what is something that right away tells you that this is good writing, and what is something that right away tells you that this is bad writing?
I mean, the weird thing about it, even a bad script can make a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you get a great director, and even a great script can be destroyed by a bad director. But
oftentimes great scripts are destroyed, not necessarily by bad directors, but great scripts are hamstrung by how good of a written script they are. They hit all of the beats too well.
Yeah.
And oftentimes...
Do you write?
No.
It sounds like you do.
No, I don't. We'll talk later. But oftentimes you see that in a movie where it's like, oh, this was a good script, but like it just could not make a good movie because it was too tight.
Or it was already complete and it didn't need to be a movie. It was what it was. I feel like for me, reading a script, if I get an image of what my character is immediately, then I feel like it's a good script for me. Mm-hmm. If it tells a story that is logical yet still surprising, that's a good script to me. When you have a script where you read it and you kind of go, what? I thought he exited left and he was, why are they at lunch? Because wasn't he going to bed? Okay, well, sorry. What day is it? When you can't figure out the basic things in a script, that's bad script writing.
What's amazing to me is that you probably don't read amateur scripts all that often anymore.
I do.
Really?
I read anything.
Really?
I read anything. People hit me up.
So I am a writer. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I read anything. People hit me up on my website, whatever, on my lame, awful website. Please don't go to it, and email me, and I will read anything, and I'll meet anybody.
But I'm saying, like, when you read something and you're like, blah, like none of this is tracking, right? How often do you find that is still a script that is being sent to you by a manager, or there's a name attached to it, and you're still like, how is this like?
I'm always interested in how it's happening, and I'm always interested in figuring out how to fix it. Right. So my brain goes to, well, okay, if we could do that, and you figure out a way to fix it. It's like a great challenge.
Do you find yourself often getting into writers' rooms on the shows that you work on, or
never?
Like, never.
They never let you in.
They never. You never.
Not me.
Like even American Horror Story or anything like that.
Never.
So you're a workhorse. You show up on the day.
I am. I'm a theater actor, which means that I do what I'm told. I go where I'm told. I say the words that I'm told. Are
you a questions asker?
Totally.
Okay.
But I'm a solution guy rather than a problem guy. So a lot of actors are kind of like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? So why? So why would I do that? That's that actor. I'm like, okay, so I could, okay, right. So I could pick the head up, right? And then bobble it while I'm sitting. And that where we had the head in the shot, and maybe the blood is on my knee. So that would work, right?
And then the director's like,
yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah,
I'm always looking for how to figure out how to make it work, because that's my job.
But as soon as the actor goes, why would I do that? The director's just going, because it's in the fucking script, man.
But also, and I've had other actors who do that to me, who want me to fix their problems, and why would you do that? And I kind of go, it's my secret. I know why. Never discuss it. But I also believe in keeping secrets as an actor. I always keep my own secrets. If I have an idea for something to do in a take, the director will kind of go, what are you going to do? And I'll go, can I just do it? And then you just do it. And if it's not good, they'll go, nah.
Are you not, even though you're a theater actor, when you're shooting on film, do you not prefer rehearsing?
You know what? It depends what it is. There's good rehearsal always, I think, pays dividends, but too much rehearsal can kill something on a TV or a movie thing. Mm-hmm. It's a delicate balance. Depends what it is. Some things you want to rehearse, other things you want to sort of go like that. I'm always up to run the lines with my fellow actors. My method is to do what works for them. I mean, I pretty much know what I want to do, so I'm happy to do what somebody else wants to do.
Is it difficult? Or what's easier, when an actor comes in with no ideas and is like, what do you want me to do? Or when an actor comes in blazing with ideas and really wants to, I don't want to say anything pejorative about it, but take up the scenery in a lot of ways?
I think you have to have ideas. I think you have to walk in with a lot of ideas and then be ready to abandon all of them.
Like, I think of someone like Matthew McConaughey, right? Who in that period of time when he did Dallas Buyers, he was also doing Wolf of Wall Street. And it was this period of time that felt like sort of unchecked creative ambition for him as an actor.
Which was good.
Absolutely.
Right.
Led to incredible performances.
Yeah.
But you walk into a scene with him on Dallas Buyers, and he's taken up the whole room.
Yeah.
Do you, as an actor, think to yourself, okay, how can I fit into what he's doing? Or how do I go against him? How does this happen?
With Matthew McConaughey, it's how do I stay alive?
Really?
When he throws me up against the wall for the 9th time, how do I stay alive? How do I stay alive? Maybe if the take is good, they'll stop doing this moment. Okay, let me just make this take really, really good, and then I'll stay alive. That's what you do.
That was it?
Yeah, that's what I did with him, yeah. Really? How do I stay alive? Yes.
And the director, that was Jean-Marc Vallée, right?
who I
did
love.
The first season of Big Little Lies.
Yeah.
Every actor
I
loves
love
him.
He's
Why?
great. He's honest and gives you a lot of latitude. So when you do a take, he'll kind of go, no, I didn't like that. No, it doesn't work. No. And what are you doing? I don't know what you're doing. So do something else. And you do it, and he'll kind of go, no. I'm like, okay. But something good about honesty.
There's no bullshit.
There's no bullshit. And when that work, he'll kind of go, yeah, that worked. Okay, good.
Is there also a sense, though, that you could get with a director who does the same thing, but you don't think they're as smart or has as good a taste as Jean-Marc? So therefore, when they're going, no, I don't like that, your head is going, actually, that was kind of the best thing that we did so far. You're full of shit.
I've never worked with a director who wasn't talented. I have to say that. I've been very, very lucky. and the talented ones don't need to over-explain or to prove anything. So if they don't have to prove anything, then you're not going to play any games. It's only when people have to prove something or something is unresolved, they're going to get into game playing. But Clint Eastwood, you get one take, maybe two. He gives no direction.
Which Clint Eastwood movie?
I did The Changeling.
Okay.
And J. Edgar with him.
You did 2 with him.
Yeah.
So clearly he liked
Yeah.
having you around.
Yeah.
What is it like working with him?
Well, I'll tell you my favorite story was I had to be punched by Amy Ryan in Changeling. After
Amy Ryan also in Late Night?
Yes.
Can I also
she
say
didn't punch me in that one?
more Amy Ryan, please, and
Yes, more
on
Amy
stage
Ryan all
in
the
movies?
time, always. But and so I was like, are we gonna have a fight director? Are we gonna? How do we? So she punches me. Is it a slap or a punch? And Clint literally did this. He goes, she'll hit you, and you just go like this. I was like, I can't do that. I can't pull that off. So what am I gonna do? And so she just hit me.
You just had her hit you.
She hit me. That's what happened. She hit me. And it hurt.
Do you get a sense when you're working with a director who's only doing 1 or 2 takes and is giving limited direction, is there still a presence that they have on the set?
Oh my
that
God,
makes
yeah.
You feel
No. Yeah, I mean, it's he's set up the shot, he's set up the world, he's cast you, he's really, really smart in casting people. He's cast you because he trusts that you know what you're doing. You can ask him a question, you can have a conversation with him, but he trusts that you know what you're doing, and he might come in and give a little thing here and there, but it's about trusting the artist he's working with. That's what it comes down to. But there's no doubt that he's in control. There's no doubt that he's the mastermind of the whole thing and that he's got the vision. He writes his own music for half his thing. So
I know.
He's got a vision for what he's doing. I mean, the other, Gus Van Sant was hilarious. I was doing Milk with him, and I ran up to him and asked a question, and he got really wide-eyed. He was like, what do you want? I was like, I had a question. He was like, and he points to Lance Black, who was the scriptwriter. He was like, ask him. And so I was like, okay. So he didn't want to talk to actors. No, get away from me.
Really?
Yeah, he's amazing guy, but he's just doesn't want to talk to the actor. He talk to the screenwriter.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
He's great. He's great.
Idaho is just like such an incredible film, but he won't talk to actors.
That was my experience. Maybe he does. Maybe other actors. Maybe it was my wide-eyed look as I ran at him that was scary to him.
Go over there. Get away from me.
Gus, can I ask you a question?
Do you have? Obviously, you said that you moved to Paris after the election of Donald Trump. And your experience with Clint Eastwood was prior to the election of Donald Trump. Who knows if he even supports Donald Trump? We don't know. He said cagey things in interviews. But has this election in any way given you pause with working with people who may be on the other side of the aisle, even though you're just making art together and not necessarily doing politics of any kind?
Not when it comes to that. I'm related to people who voted for Trump. I didn't divorce them. I'm not my husband, by the way. Sorry, I meant not in the literal sense. My God, Hugo, forgive me. But what are you going to do? And I do believe that we have more in common than we have that divides us. That being said, it's hard to forgive in this moment people who voted for this madman who is destroying the country institutionally. The Supreme Court is gone for 20 years. That's hard to watch.
At least.
Social norms are destroyed. We all are angry all the time. We're having conversations on Twitter, which is the worst place to have a conversation possible. And we're not having an honest conversation about anything. About anything. And
everything is reactionary. And
everything is reactionary, but it's also,
very little depth. It's always just like, did this happen? This happened. And it's like, take a step back. Why did it happen?
But
What's happening?
That being said, in an artistic setting, I'm not going to be, as long as it's an honest engagement, I'm happy to have a conversation with someone who disagrees with me fundamentally.
Oh, of course.
As long as it's a real conversation. The minute it's like Fox News talking points, I'm like, this isn't a conversation. Yeah. This is you now regurgitating propaganda at me. So let's find something we can agree on and talk about that. When it comes to working with a director who maybe has like a a different issue like sexual harassment or is a known sexual harasser, I would have a different feeling, I think, because I don't want to enable them.
Right.
It's about enabling people who have engaged in behavior that we must not support. Someone's opinions, who they voted for, that's different. I think, and I don't know Clint's personal politics. He never brought it up. He was never on the set. He's a mature individual. What people do politically on their free time, so to speak, is what they get to do. It's when they cross a line like Roseanne and it turns into something else that they deserve to have a blowback. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we have time for a couple questions. Who has a question? Hey, right here.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Haley. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Haley. Haley?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
There's like 15 ways to
Just
spell
a
it.
tick.
So I was curious. I love how American Horror Story has a different theme each season. It really confused me when I watched the first season and went to the second. I was thrown off.
Like, what happened?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. But I was curious to see which was your favorite season to film.
They're all different, and I loved filming the first one because we didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't know what it would be, and we didn't even know the rules. And I love characters that are sort of challenging for an audience to understand, and Larry was definitely challenging for an audience to understand. I also love season 3 because Spalding had no tongue and he couldn't speak, and I had a technical challenge of how do you stay in a scene when you have no lines, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I love Liz Taylor probably because I got a whole backstory, and I got a love story, and I got a redemption story, and that was the first time I had, as an actor on that show, had gotten the full sort of treatment and not being sort of a B player, and I love that. So that's kind of a weaselly way to answer that question, but so. There you go.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
How did they present to you that you were going to get the full treatment like that? Was it in scripts, or did they pull you into a room and say, "We've got this idea for the character, and this"?
No, they don't talk to us. That we never. Not me. Maybe Sarah Paulson. I never get talked to like that. I have no. No one gives me a heads up. It just happened. I think the writers in that show watched what we were doing and then responded, and may have already had their ideas in their weekly meetings, and they're probably about 3 episodes ahead of where we are at any given point in terms of really, really breaking the scripts and getting them fixed and ready to go. So they're able to react in real time to what's happening in the show. But I think they were also feeling their way along with that character, and I don't think they knew necessarily what was going to happen as we were going forward. I would like to think that what I was doing was also helping show them what was possible, but I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah.
One more question. Right here.
Hi. I wanted to ask you.
What's your name? Sorry.
My name is Kaylin.
Kaylin. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me. K-A-L-E-N.
Oh. K-A-Y-L-Y.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a weird
I should have known you were a Y gal.
I wanted to know, you've been in like a lot of really cool things, a lot of really like other talented people.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know who's been your favorite person to be in a scene with.
Gosh, not to be on point with my PR, but Big Little Lies and Late Night. Seriously, working with Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman, I had scenes with both of them, was extraordinary because they're great actors, because they're talented and because they work really hard and they come prepared to give everything. Not one take was not 100% full. It may not have ultimately worked, but everything was full, everything was brought every single time. There's no game playing, there's no half-assed anything. And that's extraordinary to me. And by the way, I found it to be the case with everybody I've worked with, whether it's George Clooney or Julia Roberts or Angelina Jolie. They're all bringing that kind of energy. No one is just showing up and walking through it. It is serious work. But I have to say, both of them, and then of course working with Emma Thompson, where we had the privilege of watching her sometimes do a monologue that was emotional or big or hilarious. And it's just a joy to be in that presence and to actually watch that. She truly is a master because she is working her ass off and using all of her abilities and her wit in that moment to do something. And that's to me what it's about.
Dennis, I always love when you come in. I love talking to you.
Thank you.
Late night opens Friday, next Friday, yes. June 7th.
In New York and LA, and then it opens wider on the 14th in other parts of the country.
And Big Little Lies, June 9th, HBO, right?
Yes, I think it's a whole rollout, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, no, it isn't a whole, it's one at a time, sorry.
I think it's one at a time. Oh, I wasn't sure what you meant by whole rollout, so I was just going with it.
Yeah.
That's why
I think it's a whole rollout.
Yeah, whole rollout sounds
what does
good.
that mean? Yes, and now that Game of Thrones is over, watch Big Little Lies because it's just like Game of Thrones. Exactly.
I'll go out on a limb here. I think it's better. Denis O'Hare, everybody. Let's hear it.
Thank you, guys.